Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to unpack complex topics, give you the insights you need, and today we're diving into something pretty cool, actually upcycling,
Right.
especially in things like fashion, accessories, taking old stuff, giving it a new life, these amazing custom pieces.
Yeah, it's everywhere now, isn't it? And great for the environment, obviously.
Really, huge benefits
Yeah,
there.
but, and this is the big but,
Mhm.
it's not always that simple. Beneath that creative, eco-friendly surface, there are some serious legal hurdles.
Hurdles, you mean like for the people actually doing the upcycling? Small businesses, entrepreneurs?
Exactly. Imagine you find, say, a vintage designer scarf. Beautiful. You think, I'll make this into a unique handbag.
Yeah.
Seems harmless.
Yeah, sounds creative.
But legally, you could be stepping onto a minefield without even realizing it.
Mhm.
There are hidden complexities.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. We've looked at the sources and we want to pull out the really crucial bits of knowledge for you. Help you understand the biggest pitfalls. Things like trademark issues, brand dilution.
Yeah, how these things affect both the upcyclers and the big brands whose stuff is getting repurposed.
Right. We want to give you a shortcut, basically. Get you informed on the legal side of this whole creative trend. So let's unpack it.
Okay. So one of the things that's really striking is how, the artistic side, the coolness of it, often masks these legal tangles. A really common one that pops up again and again in the research is something called post-sale confusion.
Post-sale confusion. Wait, so even after someone buys the upcycled thing fair and square,
Yeah.
there can still be confusion about where it came from or who actually made the final product.
Precisely. That's what the research shows.
Yeah.
Someone might see that reworked item, like, our scarf turned bag example, and mistakenly think it's an official product from the original luxury brand.
Even if the upcycler didn't claim that.
Even then, just seeing it out in the wild.
Yeah.
And think about this. What if the quality of the upcycled piece isn't quite up to the original brand standards? Or the design is maybe a bit off-brand?
Okay, I see where you're going.
It can create these negative associations for the original brand, even though they had zero involvement. It's not just what's said, it's what people assume.
Yeah.
And that can really hurt a brand's reputation.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. So, okay, beyond confusing the consumer, there's this other thing. You mentioned brand dilution. That sounds fundamental, like it strikes at the core of what luxury brands are all about.
It absolutely does. I mean, think about luxury brands.
Mm.
They invest so much money, so much effort into building this image. Exclusivity, prestige, rarity is everything to them.
Right.
So if suddenly the market gets flooded with, I don't know, upcycled Hermes bags or Chanel scarves made by third parties, those original items start to feel less exclusive, less special, maybe even a bit mass market. And that directly waters down or dilutes the brand's cachet, its value.
And this isn't just theoretical, right? We've actually seen brands fight this in court.
Oh, definitely. There was a pretty notable case, Chanel versus What Goes Around Comes Around, back in 2023. Chanel sued this vintage reseller, basically saying they were misrepresenting secondhand Chanel items, making them seem like they were officially endorsed or authenticated by Chanel when they weren't.
So blurring the lines.
Exactly. And it just highlights how vigilant these big brands are about controlling how their products are resold or repurposed. It's about image control as much as anything else.
Okay, so if the brand's reputation is on the line because someone altered their product,
Yeah.
how does the law step in? That gets us into trademark law, I assume.
Yep, that's the bedrock here. Trademark law protects the brand's identifiers, their name, logo, maybe even the unique look and feel of their product, the trade dress.
To stop others using them in a way that confuses people.
Right. But then you have this other legal principle, the first sale doctrine. Basically, once a brand sells an item, the person who buys it can generally resell it or do what they want with that specific item. The brand loses control.
Okay, so I buy a pair of sneakers. I can resell them. Simple enough.
But, and this is the crucial, but for upcycling, that first sale protection usually only applies if the product hasn't been materially altered.
Ah, materially altered. That sounds like the legal tightrope. What counts as material? That seems fuzzy.
It is fuzzy. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's not just, did you paint it a different color? It's more like, did the change alter the product so fundamentally that it misrepresents where it came from or implies the original brand approved the change when they didn't?
So it changes the core character of the item.
Kind of, yeah. And because materially is so subjective, it's incredibly difficult for an upcycler to know for sure if they've crossed the line. The legal gray area is huge.
Which I guess brings us straight to that Nike case everyone was talking about. That seems like a perfect example of this whole material alteration debate.
Absolutely. The MSCHF Satan shoes case, Nike versus MACSF Product Studio. Nike sued MSCHF, this art collective, over these modified Nike Air Max 97s.
Right, the ones with the unusual editions.
Yeah. Black and red colorway, some controversial symbols, and famously, supposedly a drop of human blood in the sole.
Okay.
Nike argued these weren't just customized sneakers anymore. They were materially altered to the point they could mislead consumers into thinking Nike was involved, and it could damage their brand, divert sales.
And the court agreed with Nike.
They did, initially granting an injunction. It really highlighted that there is a limit to the first sale doctrine. Modify something too much, especially in a way that creates a new, potentially controversial association, and you lose that protection. It shows that fine line between being inspired by something and actually infringing on the original brand's rights.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about trademarks, the name, the logo, the brand identity, but what about the actual design, like the pattern on a scarf or the specific cut of a garment? Doesn't copyright come into play there?
Good question. Yes, it does. That brings us to another key legal idea: whether the upcycled work is transformative.
Transformative. Okay, so how does that work? If I own the physical item, don't I own everything about it?
Not quite. Owning the physical object, the scarf, the book, whatever, doesn't automatically give you the right to reproduce or modify the copyrighted elements within it to create and sell new products.
Like the specific artwork or pattern?
Exactly. Copyright law looks at whether your new creation is transformative. Does it add something new? Does it have a different purpose or character? Does it add new expression or meaning? That's part of the fair use analysis.
Right, fair use. So what makes something truly transformative versus just copying?
Well, think about it this way. If you take, say, pages from an old, out-of-copyright book and incorporate them into a collage artwork you create, adding your own painting and design elements,
Yeah.
that's probably transformative. You've changed the purpose, added new expression. Likely legal.
Okay.
But if you just scanned copyrighted illustrations from a book, even one you own, and printed them directly onto T-shirts to sell, or maybe you copied a designer's unique protected pattern directly onto your upcycled handbag without adding significant artistic changes,
That's different.
that's potentially infringing. Because you haven't really transformed the original copyrighted work. You've just reused it or put it in a new context without adding substantial new meaning or creativity. The core copyrighted element is still just being copied.
Got it. So this is complex stuff. For anyone listening who is an upcycler or thinking about it, someone passionate about the craft but also wanting to do it right legally, what are the key takeaways, the practical steps?
Okay, number one, be clear. Differentiate your product. Make it super obvious that you created this upcycled piece, and it's not an official product from the original brand. That helps avoid that post-sale confusion.
Right. Clear labeling, maybe?
Yeah, clear labeling, maybe explaining the process on your website or tag. Second, think seriously about removing original logos or trademarks if you can, especially if you're significantly altering the item. That minimizes the risk of trademark issues and brand dilution claims.
Okay. Remove the logo.
Third, if you're dealing with potentially copyrighted designs or materials, really understand fair use. Ask yourself, am I truly transforming this, adding something new? Or am I just repackaging it? Remember, transformation is key, not just reuse.
Makes sense.
And finally, honestly, if you're building a business around this, talk to a lawyer, an intellectual property attorney. It's the best way to get advice tailored to your specific products and practices and navigate those really tricky gray areas like material alteration and transformative use.
That sounds like essential advice. So just to quickly recap the big challenges we've unpacked: avoiding that post-sale confusion, trying to prevent brand dilution for the original makers, steering clear of diverting sales, and really getting your head around trademark and copyright law.
Especially those concepts of material alteration under trademark
Right.
and creating transformative works under copyright.
And the key advice for upcyclers, again, be super clear about your product's origin, maybe remove original brand marks, understand fair use for copyrighted stuff.
And seriously consider getting legal advice. It's an investment, but it can save you a lot of trouble down the road.
Absolutely. Which leaves us, and you, the listener, with a final thought to chew on. We see this huge push towards sustainability, the circular economy. It's only growing stronger. But we also have these complex intellectual property laws designed to protect brands and foster innovation in a particular way. So what does the future look like for creative repurposing? Can that circular economy idea truly flourish without maybe rethinking some of our current IP frameworks?
Or are these legal boundaries actually essential, even with sustainability goals, to keep protecting brands and encouraging original creation?
It's a really fascinating tension, isn't it? Between creativity, sustainability, commerce, and the law. Something to